Turn our attention back to economic issues back home now, and joining us from the ENCA Money Desk is Devin Murugan. And Devin, in the midst of consumers struggling to make ends meet, we've got all of this bad news around the economy and another whopper hitting us this week, a petrol price hike.
Petrol price tomorrow at midnight goes up. It doesn't make things any easier, Michelle. It's a mixed bag when we take a look at what's in store for us at midnight tomorrow night. Petrol will go up by 11 cents in Gauteng, 95 octane. The prices of diesel and paraffin do go down, but it's really not any major relief. Let's take a look to see what the petrol price will cost you per litre in Gauteng. 15 Rand, 92 cents per litre. Diesel, although it goes down 13 cents, it doesn't bring any relief to a consumer at the pumps. 14 Rand, 33. And paraffin users, both for cooking and heating, they will be paying 9 Rand 14 cents for a litre. Now, the key reason for the price changes is the average international oil price, which increased during the period under review. We've also had a favourable Rand-dollar exchange rate through most of July. But, Michelle, the bad news is in the past 2 weeks, we've really seen this Rand take a hit against the dollar.
And Devin, just in terms of last week, yes, we saw the jobs numbers coming in. We saw a whole lot of issues around the JSE not looking very good. We were talking about blood on the floor of the JSE. Do we have a forecast for this week?
Yeah, well, I think everyone is actually looking at that Rand price I just mentioned now. And when we take a look at what the oil share is doing, the local market is doing, the Rand is the big one. So if you're talking about forecasts this week, let's bring up that table to show you what's happening with the dollar versus Rand exchange right now. Just remember that, South Africa is an emerging market, with the Rand an emerging market currency. So when there's international turbulence here in South Africa, we do feel the pinch. So, Michelle, what am I talking about? It's that trade war between the US and China. And it's really showing no signs of abating. There are more US trade tariffs on the cards for China. Investors in this global setting look at this and they pull back away from riskier assets. So that graph there is indication of that pullback. The local market, together with the local currency, feels it. So let's look at that graph. I mean, if you look at just at the end of July, we were sitting at around 14.30 or so. And just over the past 2 weeks, that graph really sliding upwards. We're now approaching the cusp of 15 Rand to the US dollar. You may ask yourself, is it just international events that are doing this? Mostly so, but our domestic, political and economical challenges are certainly not helping the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wouldn't be a stretch, I presume, to say we're in for a bad day at the markets.
Indeed. Let's take a look at those numbers. I mean, if you look at the JSE now deep in the red. The all share 1.7% in the red. Again, this is no different from what global markets are experiencing at the moment. It's that US-China trade tariff dispute that's got all investors moving away from riskier assets. By the way, Naspers, the big heavyweight on the JSE, also heavily hit, more than 2% down today. So that's taken the market along with it. But banks, retailers, all the local stocks in the red. We spoke about the Rand a few seconds ago. Let's bring up that chart and measure it against all the major currencies. First up is the US dollar, 14.92. You can see slowly approaching that 15 Rand mark. And as we said, all it does is that it just makes inflation a little bit more vigorous. And we started with the petrol price, showing you how your Rand affects the petrol price. So the euro 16.63, and also slumping against the pound, 18 Rand 12 cents at midday today. So that's where we leave economics, at least for now, Michelle.
All right, well, thanks very much for that update. Devin Murugan joining us there from the ENCA Money Desk.